Hello, this is Brian with Transparency and Merit. I'm going to spread this around because it doesn't get, it takes a while for this to load up on YouTube, and I just want to be able to hear it for later. So bear with me, folks. Well, I just spread this around real quick. I'm only going to spread it to one place, and then I'll spread it to others. Yeah, let me just spread this around. I'm just going to spread it in one. I'm just going to put it on my Facebook page so it will post. And this is Stoic Calm, the Establishment, and the Absurd. And today we are those with logic and reason. I have to think most people with logic and reason kind of have to believe that we are engaging in what is absurd. And I see a message from my buddy Joe. And let's see if he has anything to add. And I'm saying yes. So Joe may come in. He may want to be added to the show. And he may want to be added to the show. Let me see here. If Joe wants to be added, I'll put him in the clipboard. See if he wants to be added. I do have laundry in the thing, so I thought I would do a real short one. But if Joe wants to be added, I will add him. Let me just let me go to the clipboard. So I'm going to go to the clipboard. If Joe wants to be added to the show, he shall. Where am I here? Oh, my heavens. I'm going all over the gosh darn place. So I'm going to put this in. Oh, wait. Joe's already here. Let me put him in the screen. I'm going all over the gosh darn place. So I just wanted to say that, I feel that anybody that has any sense of logic and reason is dealing with the absurdity right now. Joe, do you have any feelings on that?
Of course I do, but keep going. Because I just jumped in. I want to see where you're going. You're talking about the establishment,
yeah,
and some other kind of kookiness.
Well, the establishment and the absurd, and
yeah, that's.
If you have any inkling of history, you will know that oftentimes the establishment does become absurd, and it gets behind what is absurd, and it's not in reality. It's just based. It's kind of like like when you're looking at a movie, and you're seeing like how foolish the laws were back then, and they thought they were so right and so correct, and that's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at today with this whole Black Lives Matter and Antifa movement. And I was watching something, and I know people have lambasted this, but like, and now I just misplaced my gosh darn water. Here it is. Here's my water. I just put it on the side here. So bear with me, folks. But I was near a Black Lives Matter rally. I think it was on Saturday. Was it yesterday or was it on? I forget what day it was. But they kept on talking about, there were black kids who were saying, I never, I was raised by a single mother and I never had the talk. And black parents have to stop, like we want to live in a society where black parents have to stop having the talk with their children. They want to live in a society like that. And, I grew up in somewhat of integrated circumstances, diverse circumstances. And this whole parents having to have a talk is rather new. It just came out, it seems like it just came out of thin air someday, and people just start making it up, like, oh, we have to have the talk with our kids because the police are hunting people down. I mean, it's if you really think about it and you look at the statistics, and you look at the reality of the situation, you'd probably know that that's probably not true at all. It's probably just pretty much a load of garbage. And it's the same thing with the I forget the name. God, now I can't even remember. The Willie Lynch letter. Complete nonsense. I mean, the Willie Lynch letter. For those of you who don't know, it was. I guess it was a. He was a Jamaican. It was a white person, but he was living in the West Indies, and he came to America to discuss how to deal with black slaves. And the whole thing has been proven to be completely, or much of it has been proven to be completely false. And there are people that quote it, and it's like it's part of the establishment people that quote this stuff. And it's a complete and utter lie. It's completely false. And it's something that will drive you insane if you let it. And you can, whatever side the political aisle you fall under, you're going to see things that are unjust and unfair and people acting foolish. And I think the best way to deal with it is you can't let that get to you. And you got to try not to take that personal, because that's on them. It's their foolishness. It's their ignorance. And for me, I have to remember that, man, I was ignorant too. I've been where I thought I was so right and self-righteous, where, I thought nothing, that my dung didn't stink. And all of our dung smells. And the best way to go about it is just not to take it personal, but handle it in the most calm, cool, and collected manner. The powers that be may still try to hurt you, but they'll hurt you less, in my opinion, and you're less likely to get hurt, and you're better able to defend yourself if you are able to keep calm, cool, and collected. It can be difficult, but you have to have your own self in order for this to happen. Because right now, we're up against it. Those who are logical and reasonable are up against it. And they can lose their cool and they can get away with things that you cannot. And if you choose to behave in a certain manner, you'll be punished in ways that they will not. And it is unfair, but look.
What are the current safeguards against propaganda?
The safeguards against propaganda, your own mind. The only safeguard is your own mind and your own ability to seek things out. That really is the only safeguard against propaganda and misinformation. And like I said, you should never be, if you are a thinking human being, you should, for the most part, never be for censorship. Because if what you say is true, it should be able to stand up to its bootstraps. And it should be able to stand up to scrutiny. And Debbie Daly says, obey the cops, obey the police, obey authority to a degree. You know what? I mean, I met someone yesterday who said people should give respect, even when it's not earned. It should be, respect is by sight seen, or even, I think he might have even said sight unseen. Give respect. He said, respect doesn't have to be earned. Disrespect, you earn my disrespect, but I give respect and politeness even before I give disrespect. I try to be as polite as possible, and I try to treat people as I would like to be treated. And if somebody doesn't do that to me, you know what? It's their loss. I'm walking away. I'm not interested in arguing. I'll have a discussion that's intellectual, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to have a discussion that's emotional and just have a shouting match. I'm not going to do it. That's why a lot of times, I don't really approach these protesters. And I've never been part of a mob in my life, and I'm seeing the mob take over. I'm seeing mobocracy take over in this country, and not only in this country, but throughout the West. I'm seeing the mob take over, and I'm seeing the media in favor of the mob. So, you know what? I just got to say to people that join me and want to have a free flowing conversation and that are against censorship, God bless you. Even though I'm an atheist, I say God bless you, and let's have a free flowing conversation. Joe, do you have anything to add before I call the show a day?
I don't see enough people using their common sense to judge the character of our leaders, to judge the transparency and the merit of the censorship, the rules that the rules of engagement, even here on YouTube. I hate to say that, but it's pretty demoralizing, and it seems YouTube seems to me more and more like a government operation every day.
Well, it's a large corporation. It's a large corporate organization, and it basically has gone in with it's given authority to groups like Black Lives Matter and many anti-racist leftist organizations that have authority to shut down speech it doesn't like. And these groups do not debate; they often censor. And I've been very angry at them, and that's been the wrong way to handle it. First of all, if you react angrily, they have the power. They have the power of the establishment to shut you down and get you kicked off the platform. They just do, whether you like it or not. So the best way to handle it is to handle it. You have to be better than them. You have to be better tooled than them. You have to be, kind of outthink them because they're playing in they're playing in a chess game with the masters right behind them. So you can't afford to make mistakes, or at least the same mistakes they make. And you got to go to the drawing board, and you can't, what we need is a group of people that don't act angry, because it's then when you say things or do things that become counterproductive, and it just starts an argument. And that's not what you're trying to do. That's not at least what I'm trying to do, is to start an argument with people. I'm really more open to having a discussion than even, I don't want to even say a debate, but even a difference, two people meeting with differences of opinion, and but that is hard, because when things are when things are based on hysteria, the people that are following this ideology are often hysterical. And I think there's another group that's all just afraid of them. The group that has, that makes some money and has, some financial stability, they don't want that taken away. So they're just cogs in a wheel, and they don't want to say anything. And those people you have to kind of slowly take out of the, take out of the loop kind of thing. And you have to just say, hey, we're here, we're all here to try to, gain knowledge and just like how to best handle this situation, because it's becoming out of control and there's no open dialogue. I mean, it was first with with this pandemic, and now it is with what people consider to be police brutality. And a lot of these civil rights groups cannot be criticized. And yeah, we just have to move from there, and we have to stay focused and really not be angry. And if people engage with us, even if they disagree with us, try to make it as polite as possible. Joe, I'll leave the last word with you. Oh, by the way, did you happen to see my old man's? I tweeted to you, and then I put it in Discord. My father's what he the one of the last things that he produced before he passed away, which was Real Life in Culver City. Did you happen to catch that at all, Joe?
I did catch that. Yeah, I watched it, and he wasn't in it at all. I noticed.
No, but he wrote it. He wrote it and he produced it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's really cool to see the old Culver City. Those videos have value in my opinion, and I still have a whole bunch of old videos. I wonder if any of them are of the same ilk, but.
And my father is really attached to old Hollywood, and to a degree, he lived at a time when he got out, when he got out of the service and he came back to the States, he kind of became interested, and they weren't necessarily making the films that he loved as a child. Things had gotten a little bit different, and I was going to do, and I don't know if I'll do it today, later on today. Because my father certainly wasn't a stoic man, but I wanted to, since we're getting close to Father's Day, an episode on, the stoic father. Is it a myth? Is it largely a myth? Did anyone ever have like a stoic, that stoic, leave it to Beaver, Gregory Peck kind of dad, And I think I'm going to touch on that. Joe, did you just leave for a second here?
No, I'm here. Debbie wanted to see you full screen.
Oh, Debbie. You'll see my knocked out tooth. They haven't gotten that fixed yet, but don't get into fights.
There you go.
All right. Well, anything else to add, Joe, before I call the show a day? And like I said, just I think I have to think that there are more logical people out there. They're just afraid. I think BLM and Antifa, they have more fear than they have respect. It's not an intellectual movement. It's an emotionally based movement, and the people who are believing in them are believing in them for emotional reasons, not logical or reasonable reasons. And we have to kind of battle back with logic and reason. But if people don't want to talk to you, don't force your the best thing to do is not to ever, like, if you're trying to chase down your opinion, don't do it. If people don't want to hear it, end the conversation, because continuing the conversation with people, it does no good, and they will punish you. And that's that. The sad part isn't that they won't not be your friend anymore. The sad part is they will try to economically punish and hurt you. And with that being said, I've said enough already.
All right, go for it, man. Yeah, that's. Yeah. I mean, I think you covered it there. It's a good point to make, and just sharpening your tools so when you do confront or when you're in the position to give information, to just there's some good tactics and there's some bad tactics, and I've come across enough people who have pretty aggressive tactics, and I've had some passive aggressive tactics thrown at me, and I feel like you're right. There's sometimes you got to really pick your fights, and I think you could really use your skills in the right situations. It could really shine. It could really, I think, help the conversation along rather than create conflict. So there's that.
Yeah, and with that being said, I think we'll end. Later on today, I'd like to do a show on the Stoic Father, reality or myth, and I wonder if you'd like to join me on that, and we can talk about our old mans and the way they responded to things, and because I think to a degree that Stoic Father of classic Hollywood is kind of a myth. I think at least most fathers, don't behave that way. And I'd like to get your kind of take on that.
Radio, we can do that.
All right. I'm going to go finish up my laundry. Hey, guys, like and subscribe. And those of you listening, God bless you for listening. Thank you for being here. And I say that as an atheist. I say God bless you as an atheist. Thank you for being here. And let's keep the lines of communications open. And if you agree, put a thumbs up and even make a comment below. If you disagree, tell me why. Tell me where I'm wrong. All right. Thank you for listening and have a blessed and great day. Thank you.